take your hand, run to all our plans. We can turn to a memory, hold each other, I just want your arms surrounding me. Love until the souls are one, so don't you set me free. Here is where I wanna be. And your lips that taste like voodoo, magic eyes when you give that look that you.
Welcome to the Chirosation, where chiropractors share their stories and lessons learnt in practice. The intention of the Chirosation is to provide resources and a community that will help chiropractors realise their innate potential. So join the Chirosation today. In this episode, I have a conversation with Dr Aziz Askin. It was great catching up and hearing about his experiences over the past 3 years in practice. During this conversation, we discuss his journey as an associate, the lessons he has learnt, and his future dreams in practice and life. I loved hearing about real stories in practice, so I know you'll enjoy this too. Cool. Welcome to the Chirosation. Today I have Dr Aziz with me to share his experiences over the last 3 years in practice. So welcome, Dr Aziz.
Thank you. Thank you.
So today, just to get us started, what got you into chiropractic in the first place?
I had my first experience with a chiropractor, and I'm from Timaru, so we started there by a gentleman by the name of Stephen Morse. His dad, Ray Morse, was my dad's chiropractor, and Dad used him quite often. And I injured my lower back in football, and it was about 14 or 15 at the time. I couldn't sit still in a chair for more than 5 minutes. Went to the chiro, saw him for about 2 weeks, I think, and then it cleared up and we're sweet as hunky-dory. Never really thought anything of it at the time. It was in and out relatively quick. I was quite intrigued with what he did, but never sparked anything in me because I was young and stupid. Then I went to Otago in first year, 2010 I think it was, and there was a lady who, I think it was Jo Brown, I think she was the admissions officer at the time, and she had a seminar on what chiropractic is, how it works and how you get into it. She talked about the degree in the college, and it sounded really glamorous, and she showed us the pictures of the college, and it was really, really upmarket. I thought, shit, that sounds pretty good. And then she said, you can be a person who can enhance other people's lives with your hands. And so I'm even getting a little degrees once now. That sort of shit, I was like, that is cool. That's what I want to do. So I walked up to her, I said, sweet, how do I get in? She says, fill out this form. I said, cool, filled it out. She says, okay, let's go. I'll send that in. The next day she called me up. She says, your interview's at this time. And the interview was the next week, I think it was. Next week, had the interview. And then she pretty much said at the end of the interview, she's like, yep, you're done. Cool.
Wow.
And then never looked back.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
So you just knew straight away this is
something. I went to Otago and I had the idea I'll either be like a doc, or I actually thought about being an optometrist or an ophthalmologist.
Yeah.
And I thought, because I've always had a fascination with the eyes.
Yeah.
Or the heart, so I was like a doc or a surgeon or something like that. And
yeah.
then they're all about the prescription of drugs, and I never really was into that. And growing up, and neither was my family. And I found biochemistry way too hard, and I didn't get good enough grades, so that held me back. And then had that, and it just something just clicked. She said she said you can do it with your hands. You're not stuck behind a desk. You can travel. You can do what you want with your hands. And being a dexterous person, I was like, yep, done. Do it.
That sounds really
Something
good.
up, yeah.
Because I had a similar experience as well. So I finished a psychology degree in Canterbury. And yeah, I never thought about chiropractic before. Never seen one, but just started looking into what other options of healthcare were there, because I was thinking about going down to Otago as well, and do I want to be a doctor or whatever. That's what you think, because that's mainstream, right?
You end up drinking too much.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then I don't know what it was. I'm trying to put my finger on exactly what it was, but like I heard about it somewhere, and it just clicked. It was like, yes, this is the thing that I've been looking for. That's what I've been missing in my search for what is it that I want to do, what is it that I'm really excited and passionate about. What can I jump down and actually commit my life to this. So then, did you finish? So you finished off your year in Otago?
Yep. Finished the year. It was the first year health science course. Finished that, and then We're straight up here.
Straight up college, away you go, and then cruise with that because everyone knows that's an easy process.
Oh, easy as man. Yep.
and
No
then
tears shed.
Yeah, and then what was the journey after graduation?
So after grad, went down to Christchurch and practiced down there in a very, very well established practice. The procedures, it's quite a remarkable practice. When I look back on it, it had everything you want in a practice. It had brilliant CAs. Had one lady, Kelly, she was just phenomenal with her patient communication. She was a people person. She really cared. We had all up-to-date systems. We had all touchscreens where you just tap, and I think we was capable. And you just tap and away you go. It makes the editing of your notes really, really fast. We had brand new tables, which they worked really, really well when they worked. We had the thermal scans, we had posture A, we had digital X-rays on site, which were instant. It was just all the high-tech stuff. Although I didn't quite fit the mould. Just the style of practicing wasn't quite me. And I was down there for about 9 months. I think it was about 8 or 9 months. And I thought, something's just not quite right. I'm not fit in the mould, and I feel I was holding back the practice. Then I felt it was almost a disservice to the practice because they need to have someone who fits the mould who's going to enhance the whole place.
So how long did it take you after starting there? Did you feel like you didn't quite fit?
It was about maybe 5 or 6 months in.
Nice.
That I got to about that because I was watching how the other practitioners were working, and they all had phenomenal results with their clients, and they were all happy with how they practiced. But I had to split what I wanted to do because the tools the type of analysis and the type of adjusting they did was different to what I learned at school and what I like to do. I'm more of a hands-on person. I lost my manual adjusting skills. Well, I didn't lose it, but they were subpar for me, especially my side postures. They went out the window because we use a lot of drop table down there.
Sure.
Because the drops, with the protocol that they use, work really well.
Yeah. But
it didn't work well for me. So when my side postures went out the window, I thought, I can't have this. I want to be a practitioner where I can rock a pelvis or really smash into the lumbar if I need to.
Sure.
And not have to be bound by a table.
Yeah.
I think it was over a Christmas period or a break. I went down home, I took my table with me, and it was just a pelvic bench like the one you got there, and I was checking mum and dad, and Dad, I could clear everything out, everything in them above the lumbars, but I couldn't get the lumbars or the pelvis with my parents. And I sat back and I thought, shit, I need to be able to get my skills back from what they were at school, because it just seemed to be that you use it or lose it kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely, but that's why it's practice, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You have to constantly keep working at it, refining it, and getting better.
No matter how good you are, you will lose it if you don't use it.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. So what was the biggest thing you learnt from being there?
Procedures.
Yeah.
Procedures. If your procedures are set, you don't have to worry about anything else.
Nice.
If you've got it rock solid, the place will flow.
Yeah.
It flowed really, really well. And if you've got people who are all on board with that, the practice hums. And actually the importance, or what's the word for it? Well, my perception was the importance of multidisciplinary clinics. We had a acupuncturist, Chinese herbalist, bioresonance therapist, and a massage therapist in there. And when there were times when people were having stresses on their body, that yes, we can adjust the nervous system and help the body deal with that stress, but what if we can use another form of energetic healing, aka your acupuncture or Chinese medicine or bioresonance therapy? We can enhance not just their nervous system function, but their whole entire body. So I got a really good relationship with the acupuncturist, and there'd be times where people weren't getting where I want them to be, what I would expect them to go to, and I'd say, look, go and see my acupuncturist, have some sessions with her, get her to form a care plan for you, will work in tangent with each other, not tangent, so we'll work alongside each other, and we'll see how it goes. And everybody I did that with, their results just exponentially increased. And
what do you think made the difference?
It could be the fact that the person's getting two people looking after them, so they have more attention. I'm a person that really likes acupuncture, so there's something that they do, I don't know it yet, but there's something that they do which really enhances the energies. It's not just, it's the same as us, it's not just back pain, neck pain and headaches and stuff, they work with the energies. And I guess that having a different practitioner, it's like, you should know where to draw your line in the sand. If you can't do something, don't bullshit it. Draw your line in the sand and say, hey, let's refer you here, let's send you here. So there was a point where the people where I was seeing, they weren't getting to where I expected them to be. I'm not doing something right, so I'd try a whole bunch of different ways. All my tools in the belt wouldn't work or wouldn't respond the way I'd expected. I'd be like, shit, okay, let's try something else. Let's give someone else the opportunity. Why should I hold them in? So you branch out, you give them to the acupuncturist, give them to the bioresonance therapist. Continue to work with them because you want to continue doing your job, maximising the nerve system function. And they just seem to work.
And then obviously, because you would have had a relationship with the acupuncturist and actually chatting with them,
Yeah.
what was their perspective on chiropractic and how it assisted with acupuncture?
At first, it was quite funny. At first, the acupuncturist didn't quite get what chiropractors did. She'd used the chiropractors there, and she'd had adjustments from them. And when she had accidents, she had car accidents and mountain bike accidents, but she never really understood what we did. No one had actually sat down and explained the full thing to her, which I thought was a little bit odd. So I sat down with her and I explained to her. I said, "This is what we do." She goes, "Holy shit! Now I know why
Why did no one tell me this?"
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like the number one reaction every time a chiropractor opens his mouth, right?
Why
did no one tell me this before?
And why have I wasted all these years? She
Yeah.
says, so that's why when I was getting adjusted by the chiropractors, I had this increase, and
Nice.
this, and this go away. I was like, yeah, exactly. And she's like, oh shit. So if we can maximise the nerve system function with the chiropractic, and I can work with the acupuncture, and I forget what she said, how they do it.
They're working with the meridian energies, right?
Yeah, there's
That's
meridian
the
points all over. She had this, it's like, we have skeleton hanging in the corner.
Yeah.
Last week's patients.
Yeah.
They had she had a mannequin with dots all over it.
Yeah.
It's like someone just got a porcupine and threw it at it.
Yeah.
There were just dots everywhere, and they're all connected up, and they're all colour coordinated. And I asked her, what is it? She said, they are all the meridian points in the body, the access points that we use to work with the meridians. I said, how many are there? And I can't remember the number, but hundreds. Yeah. I said, do you know them all? And she says, most of them. Which is why she has the mannequin there. So she's
I was just going to say, yeah.
Cheeky look, yeah.
Just double
But if we can maximise the nerve system flow, it's going to allow the optimization of the energetic flow as well, because you do have the energy flow around, and if there's a block anywhere in the body, energetically or biomechanically or structural, it will alter all the energies. So it's just working to enhance every aspect of a person or every aspect of a body.
Definitely. And then when you decided, this isn't the right place for me, this isn't the right fit, it would be a disservice to stay here any longer. What were you looking for next? And then if you could talk about what you actually found.
What was I looking for?
Because obviously as new grads, we don't really know what we want.
Yeah, we don't.
Right? We kind of like, we want this thing that is really good, and I get a secure lifestyle with it, but also helps me grow and learn as a practitioner.
Yeah.
But that's kind of very wishy-washy, and what we actually need is potentially something slightly different.
Yeah, I think when we graduate, we want a job.
Yeah.
We get given a job, and we get all excited. We're like, oh, sweet, I got this job. It's the first person I spoke to. I don't have to give a CV.
Yeah.
And you're in. Without having the research, I think at that point I still didn't know how I wanted to practice. And even now to this point, it's only been very, very recently where I actually honed in on exactly how I want to practice, and that's 3 years into practice. Yeah. I've been playing around with, I think I've got maybe at least a dozen different techniques that I use, that I've got access to, with the analysis package or adjusting package, whatever it is. There's at least a dozen in there, but none of them really were what I wanted to do. So that's when the neat thing about this profession, you could forge what you want out of it, so I can use all of those techniques I know and make my own. And I sat down with Dobson yesterday and I said to him, I want to leave a legacy like what you do and make a technique, which will be one thing I'm going to do. But when I was...
That's awesome, man. Well done.
When, hopefully one day.
Yeah,
one
it'll
day
happen.
One day I'll do it. There'll be a legacy.
Yeah.
Askin Basic, it'll be called.
Yeah.
And so when I left Christchurch, I was looking for... The main thing I wanted was a manual practitioner, someone who's solidly good at manual practicing, because I'd lost.
Well, like you said, you'd lost some of that skill. Just not.
I just didn't do it. Yeah, and I felt, because a lot of the clients when they're done there, they like being adjusted how it was done before. They like the status quo, and then I came in there and I went in there and I started adjusting pelvis to slight posture, and people were like, oh, no. Some people loved it, some people hated it.
Yeah.
You polarize people. But I didn't get to do it as much. So that was probably my main thing, was trying to find someone that I'd get along with, 1, and 2, who I respect as a chiropractor, and 3, a good practitioner. That'd be the 3 things that I'd look for.
I've definitely likened it to dating. It's like when you first start dating, you kind of have like this idea of this girl that you really like, or there's a partner that you really want, and you kind of start dating around and just figuring out different things, and you're like, you know that thing that I thought that I'd really like, I don't like that. That's not cool. And like you were saying before, that's so funny. Like that's exactly how I got my first gig as well. Like it was pretty much like taken out for lunch and dinner or whatever. Like you met a few times. There was no CV. It was like, did we like each other? Shall we give this thing relationship?
Let's give it a go.
That sounds really good. And you kind of start. You're bright-eyed. You're like, this is going to be great. And then you kind of, you get used to it, and you get used to the other person, and you kind of realise that we're all human, and there's great things about each other, and there's things that aren't as great about each other. And I really think it's similar to that. And then eventually you come to a point where you're like, this relationship isn't working anymore. I need to move on to something else.
You do. You get to that point, and you've got to have the guts to do it. If you're going to be held back, or if you feel you're being held back or holding something back, then you be true to yourself and let yourself find what you need to do. Because there'll be, if there's something that you feel is not working for you in that place, it's not going to work, no matter how much you force it. Sometimes it takes people a long time to change. Sometimes it's quick. But what would you say to someone when you do? I'd almost suggest if someone's going to be changing,
because it's difficult to leave a place.
It is,
Chiropractors, it's a small community.
You're worried that word gets out.
Talking about each other. It's just that you don't want to burn your bridges, right?
You don't.
Because at the same time, we need to stick together as a profession. We need to look after each other.
We do.
So burning bridges and being assholes to each other and leaving people in the lurch, just don't do it. But I really feel, this is. I think it's really important that if you have an open, honest dialogue with your primary or your associates or whoever it is, just talking about what the things are that you need. Then everyone benefits. Because otherwise you're left in the dark, right? Because and how was that leaving process for you? If you don't mind me asking, was it
not far away? It was difficult.
So what would you recommend to yourself if you were going to do it differently?
Back yourself. Back yourself. You feel it's not right, cut it and go. Just back yourself. Know that yes, there's going to be some shit that's going to follow it. You're going to think, because I left and I took a month off between practice, and I was fortunate enough to spend that with Mum for her birthday, which was really neat.
Nice.
But there was quite a lot of the time where I'm sitting back and thinking, fuck, did I make the right decision? Should I have left that place? It was a good job. It was a stable income. It was stable work hours. It was a pretty crazy life. I lived in a nice city.
Close to family as well.
Close to family, There was all these good things that were there.
But like you said, it wasn't the right fit.
It wasn't the right fit.
So you could make it work, but
you could.
It wouldn't be true.
At the end of the day, you can sit back and you can compromise. You can settle easy. But would you be happy in the long run? You could be happy for now, but in the long run, would you be? But I guess there's, you want to just back yourself and go with it, because I'm sure everybody in our profession especially, or even in your lives, when something has changed, the majority of the time, no matter when it is, there's been a good outcome from that change. There's not often, in my mind, there's not often where there's been a change and it hasn't presented with a good outcome the day after or 10 years later. There usually is something good. There's two things that will happen in life. There'll be, from my experience, you either learn something or you get relationships out of it. And if you change your dog, back yourself, you will learn something from it. Even if you perceive it as a bad thing, you'll learn something from it. And one day you'll sit back and you'll think, man, that was good, I did that because I learned this and this. Like right now with what's going on, the practice I'm at now, we're implementing some more structure. I'm basing that directly off my own practice and the things that I liked out of it and the things I didn't like. So you can, at the time, as I said, I was like, oh crap, this is a bad decision, I shouldn't be just quitting. But now I look back and think, shit, if I didn't do it, now I wouldn't be able to change this practice and get it working to a way that it will work really well.
It's funny how in hindsight everything seems to fit into place, doesn't it? Like even at the time, you're like, this is the worst, I can't believe I'm doing this with my life.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. That's cool. So if we could dive into that a little bit. So obviously left the last place, very highly process driven.
Yeah.
Could have made it work there, but just wasn't quite the right fit. You just wanted, your style of practice was a little bit different. So true to yourself, had to move on, which is very commendable, I think, very, very good. Then moving into the next place, what was your experience with that? How did you start? What was the design? Because from what we were talking about before, it sounded like you were walking into another place which didn't have a practice base for you, so it was starting from scratch, And then what was that like?
So the next one, that was back up here, so moved back up here, and are we naming practices, or are we?
It's up to you, man.
Yeah. So I started working with Rob, Rob's a mentor at the college, and he's got a very, very good practice out there. Yeah. And it suits his style, as him himself, as a person, as a chiropractor, as a personality.
And I was looking at doing the job.
Yeah. And he runs it very, very well for him. Yeah. And I looked at the practice, and Rob and I always got along really good at college. Yeah. We just bounced off each other. It was fantastic. And the opportunity to work with them, there were 3 chiropractors that I wanted to work with when I graduated school. There was Ellis Cade, there was Rob Stewart, and there was Kirk Stevens. Those 3. And the job that came up with Rob, with them, sweet.
Jump on.
Cool, yeah. So I heard it, I was like, see you, Christchurch, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's, that started from, how did it start? At first I shadowed him so I could see how he practiced and meet all the clients, and then I started working alongside him in the same hours as him. Every so often I'd see one of his clients just to sort of get myself into the feel of the practice. And then at the time we were bound to one room, so I could only do it. And the time that Rob wasn't working, there was a podiatrist who took over the room, so we actually couldn't have separate hours. So I built a small client base there, and then the podiatrist moved on, and we built 2 rooms, and that's when I was actually able to start building my practice. It was difficult. It was very, very difficult, because starting from scratch, and having to build your own practice in a place Rob was already very well established and was well known in the community, and then all of a sudden there's this new face, and Te Atatū Papakura is a small community, and people are stuck in their ways, and you come along all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, like, hey, I'm Ben,
let's
hey,
go.
Aziz. Everyone's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? And it takes a while to break into it, so you gotta really get yourself out there, put yourself in situations you don't like, and market different ways, or find a niche, find someone who you want to hit the target group of people that you like. So I was doing a whole bunch of different types of screenings and talks, or not talks, sorry, marketing ways of trying to get clients in and build my practice. And all of a sudden I got told that there was a new gym opening up down the road. I thought, that's me. So I went and had all the gyms around, and that's where I started building my practice base from.
Nice.
But it was difficult starting up from scratch, because you go through, you got this new job, you got everything going, and then when you put on your own, you got to fend for yourself, and then you start thinking, oh, what about my old job? It was stable. All these things were stable,
Yeah,
and then it
yeah.
all comes up. But
You have that doubt, being like, was it the right move?
you do, and that's where you just got to back yourself. You got to think, nah, bugger, I did this for me. You do it for the betterment of yourself, and then you just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Well, and it's also one of those things where you have to actually take a good hit at it.
Hmm.
You know, take a swing, take a chance,
Hmm.
really work away at it, and obviously it's paying off.
Yeah, yeah.
So after having decided that your niche was, because I'd love to talk a little bit about marketing as well. So after kind of deciding that gyms were your niche, what did you start to do to try and generate more new patients?
Went into all of the gyms, spoke with the managers, and I said, look, I'm the chiropractor, a new chiropractor in the area. What I'd like to do is offer all the PTs a certain rate, a rate to get the PTs in.
Nice.
And she said, yep, sweet, that was all good. So I organised a rate for the PTs, and I said, all right, what can I get in there and have a yarn with all the PTs and meet them all? Or I went and just met each one of them on their own.
Yeah.
And then got the PTs in. And then once I got the PTs in, and they start to feel the effects of chiropractic and how well their body performs. These people are athletes. The majority of PTs are people who have had a massive transformation,
Yeah.
all about bodybuilding. So
Yeah.
they know how their body works very, very well. And then you get in there and then you enhance it, and they're like, oh, god damn.
This is great. This is what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the edge that you get, and then they're so in tune. For example, a lot of the guy PTs, they're in tune with which muscles fire when they're working at the gym. You say to them, well, that nerve also controls a lot of other things, not just your muscles. And they're like, oh, what do you mean? And you say, well, the mid-thoracic nerves, they go to your digestive tract, your lungs, your heart, all those areas in there. They're like, okay, and they look at you like a little bit perplexed.
Yeah.
You say to themselves, we're enhancing how your muscles can work and how the strength of connection with your brain and your body is with that. What do you think is going to happen to those organs? And they're like, oh shit, is that why my digestion? Those types of things. And then they start talking to their clients, and then on some of their new intake forms, a lot of them they'll say, do you have asthma, stroke, or digestive problems? All these the basic, like, I think it's about 8 things that they look for. And then they start thinking, oh, you've got digestive issues. How about you go to my chiropractor? And that's where they sort of started to go from there.
Nice. And that's just about opening up that possibility, opening up their mind to understand that chiropractic is more than potentially what they thought it was before, which is just a musculoskeletal therapy to make you feel a little bit better. And no, it's actually about enhancing your overall performance and wellness as a human being.
One bit of advice I was told from a very, very good friend of mine: exceed expectations.
Yeah. Every time.
Every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exceed expectations.
And then we've talked about this a little bit before, but suddenly there was a second practice that opened up.
Yep.
So you had to start afresh again. So did you use kind of similar methods to what you were learning before, having now kind of discovered, this is who I am as a practitioner, or what I'm kind of wanting to be as a practitioner?
Yeah.
Let's approach the local gyms. Was it a bit of a copy paste, or did you have to kind of learn again within your community?
A little bit learn again. I was still, I think as I alluded to before, I was still trying to figure out how I want to practice. Like, I can adjust, I can reduce the fixation, I can remove the fixation, I can do all the stuff that a chiropractor can do, but I didn't know how I wanted my art to be. So they teach you in college the 3 pillars of chiropractic: science, art, philosophy.
Yeah.
My science was solid from the school. They teach you everything, you keep yourself up to date with the research, all that sort of thing. Your art, I felt it was working with Rob, and being able to do more manual adjusting, my art flew through the roof. I managed to become a very proficient manual adjuster. And as you said, when you practice, the better you get. So I learnt the good habits. I got rid of the old ones that I learnt at the previous place, and I started to fortify the good habits and become, in my mind, I'm happy with how I practice manually now.
Yeah.
So I feel my art is solid, but my philosophy was lagging, and it's only really been recently to have figured that out.
Nice.
So the marketing side of things, when we opened up New Lynn, first thing we did was we rebranded. So Tier 2 has an older logo, and both Rob and I sat down and we said, okay, it's time for a change. We're opening up a new practice, why don't we make them so that people know they're 2 different entities, but they're the same. Yeah. If they have the same logo, people are like, oh, those 2 are linked together.
Yeah, they look similar, yeah.
Exactly. So we rebranded it, and then we pumped Facebook. We put out lots of little posts saying, hey, we're coming, all these things.
Which obviously I liked and shared and
Thank you.
voted things in there. I was like, this is great, yeah.
Yep.
Go guys.
So we had that, and we had, what else did we do? We're still building a website.
Yeah.
What else did we do? We sat back and I said to Rob, look, I would like this practice to have some really solid procedures.
Yeah.
And he's like, yep, I agree. There's sometimes where we're absolutely run off our feet in Te Atatu, and you've got no time to stop or no time to take a breath, and no time to compose yourself. So if we can have a solid booking system and solid procedures, it makes it a lot easier on us. So we redid all the procedures, we redid all our paperwork, we redid all the booking systems. We changed our booking system, moving from an older medical-based software to Clinico and more modern.
And how do you find Clinico to use? I've heard good things, but how do you find it?
It's neat, yeah. It's actually really good. We're having teething problems at the practice because it's an internet-based software patient management system. So when the internet cuts out, so does it. But it's only with the modem, so we're in trouble with it at the moment.
Yeah.
But it works very, very well.
When it's working.
Yeah, when it works, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so light, it is quick when it runs. It's quite intuitive, like everything's there, and you just follow your mouse, read what it says, and you're pretty good. They've got updates coming, which we're really looking forward to. But it's much better than what we were using, but it's different. So we have to learn.
How to use that, yeah.
Yeah. But once we get it going, so we've changed from paper to paperless.
Nice.
Which that's the biggest learning curve for both Rob and I. So we changed to that, and what else we do marketing wise? I went out and we basically just walked the streets. We've got a police station across the road, so we went and met all the local cops.
Nice.
We've got.
It's always good.
Yep, we've got a travel agency beside us. We've got a real estate agency beside us. I need to get in there again now.
Nice.
There's like 40-something people in the building, and what we're gonna try to do, it's a good marketing tip for other people. Go to your real estate agents and say, that little booklet that you guys give your new homeowners that's got a Smith City voucher for 50% off their first whitewear item, have it on the back, you get a free initial consult.
Yeah.
Or a half price initial consult. Or
some kind of deal.
Something which gets it in your face. Because at the moment there's 2,000 new apartment buildings, I think, being built in Newland. So it's going to be huge.
Yeah, there's a lot of people coming in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then again I went and hit the gyms.
Nice.
Follow the gyms up. That's just what I like working with people who are already proactive. So then they're looking for that thing to it's an easy fit with me. They're already looking for that thing to enhance themselves.
Nice. Because that was a massive thing for me, is going to local businesses. And it was just that like very, very simple thing of, hey, I'm the local chiropractor.
Yep.
Can I put a few of my brochures in your office, and I'll take a few of your cards and leave them in mine.
Exactly.
And I'm very happy to do that, and it's an easy in, and then it means that, a few weeks later or a month later or something, you'd be like, hey, we've got this promotion running, can we put up a poster in your office, do you have anything that you'd like to say to ours? And it becomes a reciprocal thing, which works as well.
It does.
And then you're creating that kind of inter-referral network, not only between your patients, but also the businesses and the local community as
you're
well.
looking after your businesses.
Especially when you, like you said, working in New Lynn or Papakura, which are definitely kind of smaller community areas, that you just have to make that work.
You do.
It's not a high traffic area where people are walking past the business face.
People
all the
have
time.
to go out of their way to go see you. It's not like you're on the way.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So then what's your kind of vision for the future being there? Do you see some more processes being put in place?
Yeah.
Do you see the practice growing and then eventually bring on another associate? What's the
The plan is to get another associate.
Nice.
Eventually, so we can
grow the empire.
Yeah. I don't know how we're going to work it, but we may have someone who's going to work between the two.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know yet.
That's future.
Yeah, but
my question is mainly like, is more expansion part of that process? And then if you are wanting to do that, what are you kind of doing now to create that expansion in the future?
Question. Probably a question for Rob, really. I'm sure he wants to grow it, or we want to grow it.
Yeah.
Question. We're just, at the moment, we're trying to break the mold. There used to be a chiropractor in New Zealand,
Okay.
about 7 years ago, I think it was, 7 or 8 years. And we're just trying to break ourselves into it. And once we get in and once people start to realise who we are and that we are there and we've got a reputable name, then it should eventually start to grow itself. It's in an area where there is a bit of traffic, so there may be some walk-ins. But we're pushing. We need to get the internal things sorted out first. We're still going through the teething problems.
Yeah, well, it's still a very new practice.
Yeah.
When does the doors actually open?
It was the 14th of February, I think it was.
Yeah.
First, the second Monday of February.
Yeah, so it's only been open for, like a month, 2 months?
It's like 6 weeks now.
Yeah, 6 weeks, yeah.
So it's still early
Still
days.
very early days, yeah.
But
Sorry, just to clarify, because you talked about it before, but people at home probably don't know. But the deal is that you're basically based at New Lynn. And Rob's basically at Te Awatere.
At Te Awatere, yeah.
So that's why you're kind of coming in with some processes and actually working on some of your old stuff to try and build that.
Yeah, get it.
Which it would be pretty fun.
It's cool.
Yeah, to kind of be like, hey, sweet, I get to almost kind of set up my own practice.
Pretty much, without the responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the money.
Which is ideal.
It's really cool. You learn what works, you learn what doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's stressful at times because there is so much stuff involved in restarting everything.
Yeah.
More so than what I'd expected or what I'd planned on. But yeah, it's definitely, if someone else can do it, take it, try, give it a go.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Nice. So what have been some of the biggest learning experiences you've had over the last couple of years? Some big fails that have happened that you've kind of gone, that really sucked, but this is what I've learned from it.
Yeah, what would be? Going through school, actually, I never liked X-rays.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
I love reading them and looking at them and being like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I never liked looking at the listings on it. I still don't really to this point, but I never understood the value of the education that comes with X-rays. When we're in Christchurch, we X-rayed most clients, and when people see what's going on with them, and you can tell them this is why, they just get it's an invaluable tool for education. It really locks it in people's minds.
That's cool. That's a really good one. Because I think that's really important. When I graduated, it was definitely there, but X-rays for me were definitely a listing generation tool.
That we're taught.
Yeah. When I graduated, that's how I definitely felt it. Like X-rays are for me. I use them to see, how much damage is in the spine, is there any pathology, and what are your listings.
Yeah.
But as soon as I started working with Kent a lot more and looking at how other practices are run and what they do, and starting to use X-rays as a communication and an education tool for patients, and then actually giving them to them, because we it's still super old school, so we take like hard copy images, so they get like a massive folder with X-rays and stuff. But it's like there's something in that where people go, that's what the inside of my body looks like. That's what my bones are doing. That's really interesting. And I can see how I've got that kind of imbalance, that pain, or that kind of feeling of, I'm using air quotes, you can't see, but wrongness in my body. I always feel really tight in the top of my neck, and I can see how it's really high compared to the top of my skull, or whatever it happens to be. They have some kind of visual representation, something tangible that explains what's going on with them. I think really helps. I
think it's a peace of mind. Like, I went through, it was 2 years ago, I injured my forearm, and I was actually off work for about 6 weeks. I couldn't do any adjustments with my left arm. It was really, really weird. I had X-rays, I had 2 or 3 sets of X-rays, an ultrasound and MRI on it. No answer, nothing. And my parents were like, well, what was it? I can't remember. Someone said it to me. They said, even if they find out what it is, it's not going to change, unless it's super bad, because they would have found it on the other stuff. But it's a peace of mind knowing what it is, and from that experience on myself, knowing what something is, it just makes it more real and makes you, I don't know, it's something in your body, in your mind. I was taught that there's 4 things that people want to know: what it is, where it is, how much it's going to cost, and what's the plan. They're the 4 main things. And going through my my initial stages of when I got out of the college, I'd quite often be scared to fully diagnose and say, this is what it is, apart from subluxation, because that's one thing we tell them. But if you've got like an injury, like a full, like you tell them exactly what it is and where it is, and you can be really, really assertive in saying exactly what it is, and that gives them, you see it in their mind, they're like, oh sweet, this person knows what's going on, and they can help me. And it's good for your retention, good for your education, and good for your rapport, and for your reputation too.
Yeah. I think it's massive.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what have been some highlights? What's some cool patient stories, some success stories?
Oh man,
What's happened?
probably my one of my favourite ones.
Yeah.
I've got this gentleman, he's actually a client still.
Cool.
A client up here, sorry, I should say.
Yeah.
He had a constant pain in the posterior part of his arm, lateral part of his forearm, and stopped about 3/4 of the way down his forearm. And he'd gone to the doctors, he'd gone to orthopedic surgeons, he'd had every test under the sun, and the MRI said that there was severe IVF stenosis at C23 on the left, this was his left arm, and mild stenosis, pretty sure it said mild stenosis on the left C6, C7. So what we're going to do is do an anterior discectomy of C6 and C7
Nice.
to free up the nerve. I'm like, what? Why? C6 and 7, yeah, there's mild IVF stenosis, but what the hell's going on with C2 and 3? It's severe.
Yeah.
But that nerve is not affected. So what's going on? And I'd met him at a motorcycle meeting one day, and I don't even remember how we even started talking. It was a big group of us. I think I just admired his bike.
Nice.
He's got my dream bike. I saw it, I was like, that's just fucking
I want that. Yeah.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
And he says, I actually shouldn't be riding. I said, why is that? He says, because I busted my neck and I got this. I said, I'm a chiropractor, I'm such and such, rada. Had a yarn with him after the meeting, and I said, would you mind if I had a look at it and see just what I feel? And he goes, yeah, of course. I said, have you been to a chiropractor before? He says, maybe a long time ago, but I don't remember. So I took it as a no. Checked his neck out, and I said, look, I told him what I look for, what I do. I said, look, there's 2 areas in your neck which need my help. What I like to do is propose an offer or trial for 2 weeks. Up to you, here's my card, give me a call. What I do is I trial you for 2 weeks under my care. Within that, I will make changes. Well, I'm fairly certain that I'll make changes. I don't know how much, I don't know how little, but I will help you. And he goes, he's an Irishman, fuck it. He says, let's do it.
Yeah.
I thought, sweet as.
Best patient testimony ever.
Oh, great. He's fantastic. He was sweet like hell in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like he came in the other day with a cold. He says, I'm just fucked.
Yeah.
I got this fucking cold, I couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
He, first adjustment, manual adjuster, somewhere in his neck, I forget now. And he stood up, he sat up, because I adjusted pain on his neck. He sat up, he looked at me and he scratched his arm. And his face kind of just dropped, and he goes, he looked at me, and then he kind of let he let the guard down a bit, then he put it back up. And I said, right, this is the advice, right, I told him the aftercare plan.
Yeah.
He went away, he came back, he says, it's changed. And he said, for the last 4 months I've had no change. And you've created change. Second visit, gone. Third visit, can I ride my bike now? Because he was told not to ride his bike. He said, no. Just away.
Yeah.
And he's at the point now where he was so scared of riding his bike because of this, and if he'd lose use of his arm, which he's had before, he said his arm's just gone dead. And that's his clutch lever, his clutch hand.
Which you kind of need when you're riding a bike.
A little bit.
And I imagine if it's your bike that you really want, it's probably pretty quick.
Very.
So something you might need.
Bloody rocket.
Yeah.
But he, from a person who was, he's an Irishman, that Irish people aren't scared. They'll fight to the death, they don't care.
Yeah.
He was scared of it. To the point now where he's saying, so when can I get on my bike? Can I ride this weekend?
Yeah.
That's cool. I've actually become quite good friends with him as well.
Nice.
That's probably one of my favourite ones. So
That's awesome.
the sad
But
thing.
that's giving someone's life back. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we do this, isn't it?
He's exactly. He's a guy who every day he comes in to see me, or each visit he has, he's got a shirt. Everyone's different of the Isle of Man TT, which is a race which is held in the Isle of Man, which is superbikes travelling at an average of 180 miles an hour. Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, God used to watching videos.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
He loves that stuff. The two Dunlop brothers. He idolises them. His credit card is a picture of Michael Dunlop on his bike.
Really?
Yeah, beside his bike. He loves it.
Yeah.
Talk about his bike, he sparks up and he won't shut up. It's fantastic. So we brought that back, but the sad thing is, none of the practitioners that were looking after him had recommended a chiropractor. Which that's always the downfall that we have, the battle we have. To the point where he told his GP that he's going to see a chiropractor, and the GP said, you shouldn't be doing that. And he says, well, he's the only one that's given me the good results, the change and the pain's gone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that GP a call and say, hey, I've asked the permission of the patient to talk to him about it. I said, hey, this is regarding this person here. Would you mind if we sit down and have a coffee and have a talk about the case? And what I'm going to try to do, if he agrees, is sit down and see where his position with chiropractic is, why he doesn't like it, and where somewhere there's been a disconnect and he has been opposing to it. Because there'll be one point where he's had a neutral idea and it could go left or right, and he's had something which has created him to go down the bad route, whether it's personal or family experience, but there's something. And I want to find out what it is and see if I can come across from another point of view to build an intra-professional relationship.
Because it's the best.
Yeah.
Because it benefits both parties.
Inter-professional, sorry.
Yeah. Because it benefits both parties.
It does.
Because if here's a patient who comes in who's not resolving properly, similar to your Irish gentleman, we can refer him to you.
Exactly.
Or you can aim for GP, which is really handy to have.
Yeah.
Who you can refer out to. Because I've looked for that multiple times. Yeah. So I've got a patient at the moment who's got this really weird hip thing, and it's kind of going away. So presented with low back stuff, had a massive fall down a hill and just messed his body up, was having trouble walking, came in, got him right, which was great. And noticed on the x-rays that he's got like this bony outgrowth on his acetabulum, hip. Looks kind of like an ethesophyte. I was like, well, it's there, but it's not a major, it's not really, seems like it's not really interfering with the primary concern at the time when we took the x-rays, so ignore it. Adjusting away, he's been coming regularly for 4 months now, 5 months. And for the last 2 weeks, he's just had like this really terrible pain if he sits for longer than 20 minutes, and it's just ridiculous.
In the area of the
just in his hip, and then it also, when it gets bad, it travels into his groin as well bilaterally. And it's like, this is really weird. Like, where is this coming from? So you end up doing all the tests. You try and figure it out. What's going on? Is it psoas? Is it hip? Is it some kind of other subluxation that I'm missing in the pelvis, or is it neck, and it's causing everything to be kind of messed up? So you go through everything trying to figure it out. And eventually, got on top of it, did a few adjustments, doing some extremity adjustments as well as a little bit of tissue work, and that kind of seemed to resolve it, which is great. But now it's come back again. And it's like, okay, so I'm missing something here. What is it? And it's that point that you wish you had an acupuncturist or a GP or someone else who you could go, hey man, this is what's happening with this patient. It's just not coming right. What can you do? And I've definitely tried for that. I've contacted all my local people, acupuncturists, GPs, osteos, nutritionists, naturopaths, but they're just not interested in interacting with me, which really sucks. Even when it's like, I have a patient for you that I'm not helping, how can you do it? So, but maybe because the question I had for you was, well, what's the answer to that? Why is it that the GP is being a dickhead and just doesn't understand what it is that we do? And maybe he needs an example. He needs a patient to come and see him that he's not getting resolved, he's not getting a resolution with, who's seen a chiropractor, got resolution, and you can go, hey, this is a case, this is what I do to help. Let's chat about it.
Why not? Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense to me. That would be great.
Yeah, just call them out. We're so, I don't know, I think some people they're scared to interact with other health professionals outside of the alternate side because it's like they're branded as a demon in some cases.
Well, it's them versus us, right?
That's the perception. Where my whole thing throughout school, throughout my degree is, or we're taught, I can't think what the law is, your natural selection. If something is not fit to be in the environment, it won't be there. So how the hell is medicine? Yes, they've got that debate that we could have a yarn about for the rest of the day.
Yeah, you got the next 5 hours, let's go.
Exactly, yeah. I'm sure people ponder about this.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be there if they weren't meant to be. Yes, they've got a big hole in the healthcare,
Sure.
but they still do a good job.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So why do we need to try take away their business? Why don't we try? I'm not trying to say we should integrate with them, but why don't we just be civil and create a relationship with the GP or the orthopedic surgeon or the specialist in that field, not the profession, just the specialist. Pick one, because at the end of the day, we sit here right now as chiropractors, but we also sit here as Ben and Aziz. We are a person, and the GP around the road from me, he's a person as well.
It's a person with family and loves and ups and downs and life. Yeah.
And he may have a very opinionated idea of how bad chiropractic is, but if you sit down to him person to person, you buy him a coffee and sit down and be like, hey, I've heard that you're not super fond of me or chiropractic.
Yeah.
Actually, not to the back. I heard you're not super fond of chiropractic, but I'm here to talk to you today about who I am and how my take on it is different, and hopefully have the opportunity to challenge or to potentially change your idea behind it. If we can discuss it, if I know where your problem is with me, then maybe I could help sort it, change it, or we can just discuss it as people instead of having such a big wall up.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah. What that whole objection management, right? Like if you have an objection, I can't do anything about it unless I know what it is. Like if you don't like me and you're not going to tell me why, well then this relationship is not going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
But if we can actually create a dialogue and humanise each other, then I think it works really, really well.
And I think most GPs, I almost say all GPs, they're in it for the clients.
Yeah.
They're in it for the patients.
Well, the two of us were looking at becoming a GP.
Yeah, spot on.
We just happened to discover the greater part. No, we just happened to discover something else.
That.
Yeah. We just happened to find something that really clicked with us, which was chiropractic, and they obviously continued.
They click with medicine. Yeah.
They click with medicine. They found that it works, which it does for a lot of people.
So if we sit down and we tell them, or we build the relationship and we say to them, look, this is because we want to enhance our community. Your community Papakura, mine is Millennium Te Aratu. Wouldn't that be better for our community if we both work together and there's something I can't fix that maybe you can?
It's about the people. And the reason that people don't get chiropractic or don't refer to us or whatever, it's ignorance. It's just they don't know what it is that we do. And their brother's cousin got hurt by one day. Yeah. Which is that old wives' tale, right?
Yeah. Well,
not true.
My uncle, he borderline hates that I'm a chiropractor.
Really?
Yeah. When I told him when I was going to be a chiropractor, what the fuck are we going to do that for?
Yeah.
Because of this, it's all bullshit. I said, alright, why? Well, I went to a chiropractor and he busted my neck up. And it's never been right since. I said, okay. Well, at first, oh shit, am I doing this right? And then as I went through the degree and became more certain that this is what I want to do, I became a bit more aggressive with my stance with him. And I said to him, alright, well, how often did you see him? Oh, I only went to see him once. He was supposed to fix it. I said, fuck, really? This is why it didn't fix it.
Yeah.
One shot. You have, let's say you have a meal which with 6 potatoes, a ton of meat, some vegetables. If you have 1 potato, you're full.
Yeah.
And they kind of put him back in his place a little bit, but he still doesn't like it because he was hurt by one. He's had a bad experience.
Yeah.
But now he's more accepting of it, and he's happy to send his daughter to the chiropractor and to her because she thinks it.
Yeah. Where
before, if I didn't do that, he wouldn't have.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, that's a notch of success.
Great. Yeah,
that's awesome.
One more from profession.
Yeah, man.
One more.
So before you're talking about creating the Aziz basic, the Askin basic, tell me about that.
That's been something I've been pondering. As I said before, I've only in the last week, if that, really discovered for now exactly how I want to practice.
Cool.
I've been playing around with all different forms of techniques, and I've always been one to be really intense in my analysis, finding out what is going on and really being certain with it, and I can find the areas that need my help, but I wanted something more, the 3 pillars. I wanted to get my philosophy right, and if I can build a technique package, which is solid. That will be my philosophy of why I do it, what I'm going to do for a person's body. Someone asked me, I think it was yesterday, what I do. I said, well, my job now is to reduce, I'm working with spinal cord tension. Now that's going to be my primary focus. My job is to reduce the amount of tension, the inherent tension that your body's putting on itself, the inherent stresses it's got on itself before anything else can affect it. So we can't get out of a world where we can't be in this world where there's no external stresses. There is pollution out there is chemicals in the food, there is all these other pollutions which are stresses on our body, and our body will deal with it because it's very, very smart. But if we have inherent stresses and tension within the body, it's going to screw us up from the start. The meningeal irritation, the meningeal tension. I started playing around with a couple of changing the way I was working with a couple of my clients who I noticed the inversion in their feet was ridiculous, and before I didn't really took too much notice of it. And I started just playing around with all their problems were in their mid-back, and I consistently be adjusting the mid-back and adjusting. And there'd be a block, like let's say between 2 and 7, where you just couldn't move. So you'd start at T10 and you try to work your way up, and eventually you'll adjust. You'll get a small movement in T7, and then you can get T6, and there'll be a block again. I'm thinking, well, what's the definition of insanity? Repeating the same thing, expecting a different outcome, which is exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was trying the same shit, trying to relieve that area, and it just kept coming back. Sometimes more with a vengeance. And I thought there's something not right. So I started playing with the two ends. The analogy, I can't remember I was taught this, the analogy of a wet towel. How do you wring it out? You twist both ends. Where does it get tight? In the very, very centre is where the water comes out.
Yeah.
Same thing in the spine. You've got the meningeal attachments, C1, C2, C0, a little bit of C3 depending on who you are, and sacrum L5, touch of L4. That's where it all will attach. And you've got the sympathetic ganglion in the mid-thoracics, which is why everyone's so tight in there. And we're more run in a sympathetic dominant state because there's tension at the ends pulling on the centre, stressing the sympathetic ganglion, which sits just outside the spine. And I started delving into that, and I had a client today she was my first person I'd been testing this with. This was her third visit since, and she was feeling a little less stress within her body, but objectively, holy crap, today her mid-thoracics were like a normal person's mid-thoracic. It was unreal. The glow, the tone of the whole area was intense. It was just, the reduction was insane.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to
speak my language, man. That so makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I think about the nerve system and the neurology as well. Yeah. Because that's what makes sense. Because that's what most people are suffering with these days.
Yeah. We're in a world where, or someone said this, I think, my memory's a little bit short. Someone said to me, when the arts of the main chiropractic was created, where you adjust full spine, you adjust the subluxations in certain areas, you could adjust all over the place, because the type of stresses that are on the body are so much different to what they are now. So back in the day, you probably could have adjusted a T7, and I'm not saying that what I'm saying is right, but you could adjust a T7, that is the primary for the two ends, potentially. But nowadays, if we look at people's postures, we're all at computer screens, we're all on fucking cell phones and digital or handheld devices, and we're constantly creeping forward and rounding ourselves up, and we're instantly stretching that spinal cord. And you, like a basic test which I remembered last night, to test if how much tension's on someone's spine, you get them standing up and you get them touch their toes and watch where their head goes. Because most people, their head will come up as they touch their toes. Yeah. And then you say to them, okay, we'll tuck your head, and they can't because it pulls.
It pulls, yeah.
Why is it pulling?
Yeah.
It shouldn't, and it's not like a stretching, pulling in the back of your hamstrings. It's a pull in your spine. That's literally the pulling that's going on in the spinal cord.
That's the dura being yanked on, guys.
Bang on, yeah.
It's like your spine is in a crappy state. Like
Yeah.
We've got some work to do.
Yeah, we do.
Get on the table. Yeah.
Be a good patient.
Yeah.
So that's
cool, man. I love it. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I'll be at the seminar.
Sweet. Cool. I had an awesome opportunity yesterday to sit down with Graham Dobson, Dr. Graham Dobson, and the conversation that him and I had was, that's what, I left that conversation and I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. This is right now, this is what I need to do. Nice. And I said to him, I'm in this state where I don't know how I want to adjust and I'm trying to figure things out and I'm delving into different stuff. And he goes, I did the same as you when I was younger. You sound exactly like me. And I thought, okay, so I'm onto something.
I'll take it as a compliment. That's awesome. Thanks. Yeah,
something like him, sweet.
Yeah.
And he says, he's always changing how he's got his core idea, but he's always changing how he's working with it. He's always going to work top bottom. He's always going to do it, and if he needs to, he'll pattern and adjust in the thoracic if it's needed. If the body's not clearing it, then obviously he needs some more help. But he's always going to work top and bottom. But he's changing he's just done a functional neurology or a postural neurology course, and he's starting to use that a little bit. But it's still top and bottom. So we're fortunate at the school because we have 2 masters in both wings of the spectrum of chiropractic. You've got Graham Dobson, who's in the far left, I'm going to call it left wing, of tonal. A lot of it's tonal, reducing spinal cord tension, reducing stresses, tonal energies, that sort of thing. And then you've got Lisa Baptista, who's all about biomechanics. And at one point I think during the college we could take them for granted a little bit, because they are very, very good in their own rights, and if you listen to them take the teaching side away for things and listen and watch what they actually do, they've both got the right philosophy. If one of them resonates with you, you stick with them, you try to suck as much information out of them. Like, I wish I took more from it when I was at college, when it was accessible to me.
When they were right there and wanting to ask you questions.
Yeah,
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But then it's also at the same time, it's now that we've actually been out in practice and had experience, we have more ability to ask better, more interesting questions.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
But then, like you said, they're still willing to help.
They are.
At their core, they're amazingly generous people.
Yeah. So the technique of, I don't want to do too much, I don't want to give it away.
No. Painted it, that's right.
I should. I don't mind how people apply it. It's like you can use the analysis package of SOT, but adjust however you want.
Sure.
I want it to be an analysis package so that you can really hone in on how you're going to significantly help the client. Eventually I could develop a technique, but currently I just want to get a solid analysis package. And there's a few people, a really good opportunity at the moment to mentor a group of second years. And I'll teach them the stuff that they should learn for school in the first part of the session, and then we'll go on to stuff that I teach them for outside of school, which rips their little heads in half.
Yeah.
But they just, when I teach them what I'm doing, they just say it just works, and when they're checking people, they're so certain what they do, and you see the little light bulbs go off. And I want to be able to get to the point where I have a technique where I can teach people and it's from me, and I can see the light bulbs go off in a room of 100 people, other chiropractors, where it just works for them. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do it.
Nice, man. It's exciting too.
It's like 24 hours post light bulb moment for me.
Yeah. I think that's kind of a perfect moment to catch it, because that is the inception.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, let's see how it kind of tentatively grows over the next few years. That's very exciting.
Which you'll probably find, I'm sure if we listen back on this, my mind will be a little bit all over the place.
Yeah.
Because it's at the moment it's fried.
Yeah.
Because there's this idea in my head and it's just wanting to get out.
Yeah.
So I'll get distracted easily.
That's cool. It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of cool ideas, another thing that you shared earlier, which I think is amazing, and 100% when you started, I'll share it, is driving around on a bike.
Yeah.
And chiro philosophy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What kind of inspired that?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you've got, as you were speaking to you before, you said that you wish that you had access to this a year ago when you were in school.
I do.
Yeah. So you have this. Excuse me. You have this vessel of giving this to the people via the podcasts.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, and you said to me, "This is what you love to do. This is a passion of yours."
This is fun for me.
Bang on.
Yeah.
And I bought a GoPro, and I've been using it to film when I'm at the track, and I look back and I'm like, man, that's cool. and I play around with the music, and I thought, well, it was when you asked if I wanted to be on the podcast, I thought, well, I can make motor vlogs where I'm just cruising around the bike, doing stupid shit and talking.
Yeah.
Just rambling. And try and make something of it. It seems, I've watched a lot of other motor vloggers on YouTube, and they just talk about stuff. There's one follower who's got like 7 million followers, and his videos are about 6 to 10 minutes long, and he just talks shit.
Yeah.
But people follow him.
Yeah.
So if I could do that and target it to the chiropractic profession, and then people could pose questions to me and say, why don't you have a session on this or a topic on this, and then just get talking, and it creates another vessel for people to have a discussion on. Potentially.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. I'd 100% watch it. And it's super interesting. And it's kind of like a cool little niche kind of area as well. It's like it's something I've never heard of before.
Yeah. No one's done it, and no one else better do it.
Yeah. Start it before I make this live, right?
True, yeah.
So if anyone's been really inspired by you, they want to reach out, they want to kind of pick your brain a little bit more, or get in touch, what's the best way to do so?
Just text me, give me a phone call, Facebook, anything like that.
Nice.
Yeah, we can link on.
I'll put all the contact information in the show notes below. So
I really enjoy helping people. I guess it's one profession, so you can help people to enhance themselves, and I feel I don't want to be just limited to help people to express the potential in their body. I also want to try to help people express their potential in their mind too. So if I can teach them something new and it's going to help them in their practice, fuck, I'll do it. Like as I said with the I call them my minions, the second years, that every one of them, each time they have a little light bulb moment, and this little fuzzy feelings you get, and you're like, that is going to help that person become a better chiropractor. And I was with my girlfriend and a friend last night, going through a technique session, and both of them had the light bulb moments, which I sat back and I thought, when they go to clinic next week, they're going to implement some of these things, and that's going to skyrocket them. They're going to boost their confidence, because I saw it with them. As soon as I taught them what it was that I was teaching them, the rest of their checking, the rest of their analysis just boosted. They were so much more confident. This is where this one is. This is what I'm going to do. Right. So, yeah, if people want to reach out, I'd love to.
Yeah. Obviously, you're very happy to do it. That's awesome. And anyway, out there, Aziz was super receptive to me as well, having not chatted for, I don't know how long, and just like, hey man, want to catch up? What are you up to? And
sweet.
So that was great. Yeah, done.
Apart from buggering up last time, sorry.
But that's hey, look, new patients take priority. It happens. Easy as.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
But I'm hearing I'm still keeping up. I was out, now I'm finding that it's simple love. Trust me, it'll be enough. Make a move and let the blood flow through our veins. I remember it like cold snow. Heat it up now.
Thank you for all the support you've been showing this platform. If you have any ideas for future episodes, or you'd like to be involved, send me a message through the website or your preferred social media. For the resources mentioned in this episode, check out the show notes or thechirosation.com. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave a comment on Facebook. Now go out there and start a chirosation today.